First and foremost, I want to give all honors and praises and glory belongs to my Lord and Savior, whose name is Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wahavakar Kwadash. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and his Son's name is Yahweh Shai, who we reverence, and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and to the hopeful elect across the globe, and to the very few brothers and sisters that are listening and also learning across the globe. Now this lesson, I've been wanting to do this lesson, right time and the right moment. Despise not the chastisement of Yahweh Sham, Yahweh Shai. Alright? It should be something you get used to. Okay? But we're living in the world, the Western world, where Esau says, no, that's cruel. No, you can't do that. No. There's a difference. There's a difference between you being outright cruel and you chastising. You see why the people are doing what they're doing? People are just doing what they're doing because they're not being chastised. Okay, let's go to Hebrews 12 and 9. Let's let the scripture speak. Come on now. Hebrews 12. And I want to start at... Hebrews 12. And there's a lot here. Let's start at 12. Wherefore, seeing we also have compassed about with such a great cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and sin which doth easily beset us. And it says easily. Within a day, anything can happen. You could go off without even knowing. And let us run, because this is a race, with patience, keyword patience, and run the race that is set before us. And he that shall what? Endure to the end shall be saved. Looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith. Okay. So Yahushua, yes, he is the author and the finisher. Okay. He is the book. He's the volume of the whole book. Okay. Who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross. So Yahushua endured the cross, despising shame. Okay, and in this truth, we go through shameful things. You get shamed. How can you be humble without any type of shame or ridicule? And that's what Yahushua went through. And he's set down at the right hand of the throne of the Most High. A lot of men, they want the glory, but they don't want to have to go through the humiliating processes. You see? And what does that show? Just a lack of character. Okay, for consider him that endured such contradiction. And he says contradiction of sinners. And the reason it says contradiction of sinners, because Yahushua was perfect, but then you had sinners that were trying to condemn Yahushua. So that's why it says contradiction of sinners against himself. Lest ye be wearied and faint in your minds, and that's what you don't want. Remember, everything's happening. Anything anybody does to you, that's Yahushua doing them up. When you do know when enemies come up against you, that's Yahushua that sets them up. Alright? You have not resisted unto blood, striving against sin, and you have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. Okay, my son, despise not the chastening, okay, of the Lord, Yahushua. So you're not supposed to despise his chastening. You know? You're not supposed to be despising that. You're supposed to embrace that. Yes, that's a good sign. That shows he's still dealing with you. He cares. Nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. Don't faint. No, I can't take this anymore. Why are you saying? No. It's to build you up. Okay? Because faint, you've got men that can't take any type of correction. And then they end up fainting. You know? I don't want to, oh, it's too much. No. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth. So he loves you. He cares for you. The other people in this world, he doesn't care about them. Even within our own nation. So that means he loves you. He's found favour with you. And scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. Okay, so when you go into that word scourge, you can create a scourge with a whip, beat. So you get beat, you get lashes. By Yahweh Shai, we get lashed. Every son whom he receiveth, so he's receiving you as a son. If ye endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. Okay? For what son is whom the father chasteneth not? So what type of father is that? If he's not chastening you, huh? But if, and you notice how it says, what son is he who the father chasteneth not? Basically, you're unruly, undisciplined. Okay? Start doing everything he wants to do. Okay? But if you be without chastisement, wherefore are you partakers? Then you are what? Bastards are not sons. And there's a lot of bastards out here. Esau is the example of a bastard. And the scripture says a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. Okay? The seaport of Israel. Okay? So Esau is the example of what a bastard. He does not have no father. He's fatherless. Okay? That's why he's doing what he wants. Esau is the example. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us. So even your biological father, he somewhat corrected you. Alright, he wasn't following the customs of the scriptures, but he was correcting you. And we have gave them reverence, and that's your biological father. Shall we not much more rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? So how much more the Father of spirits, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and live? For they verily for a few days chastened us after their own pleasure, their own will, what they thought was right, what they thought was doing what was right to chasten us. But he for our own profit. Because some men, you can tell they haven't been chastised when they were younger. They never really got beat. Okay, just the way they are. Okay, effeminate. Okay, non-accountability. See, in this truth, you take accountability. That we might be partakers of His holiness. Now, no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous. And through experience, you had them times where nothing is happening. And it seems to be joyous because you're feeling quite good, but that's a dangerous position to be in. Because you want affliction, you want hardships in life. You can't go through this truth but no hardship. Well, how are you going to get built up? But grievous nevertheless afterwards, okay, it yieldeth peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. Exercise is what? Practiced. So when you're exercising what you're practicing and what you're able to yield the peaceable fruit, because what? You went through that experience and you came out the other side and you were able to grow and you were able to learn. That's the difference between a rookie, okay, that's in his comfort zone, and a man that's experienced to intermediate to a higher level. Because he's being put through that. Yahweh's putting him through it. Okay? And that's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. That Yahweh is doing that. He's building up his men. He's building up, keyword, men. Men. Not weaklings, not effeminates. Okay? Not sissies. Okay? Men. So bear me just a minute. Now let's go to Proverbs 19, one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Proverbs 19 and 18. We leave that. Let's go to Proverbs 29 and 17. Correct thy son. Okay. That's what you want to do. Correct thy son. Alright. So part of this truth is correction. And what sons to Yahweh Shai? And he shall give thee rest. Why? Because you're not going to have to worry, panic. Okay, you're not going to get no phone calls by the police knocking on your door. Okay, yeah, he shall delight unto thy soul. And this is what? Twofold. Okay, your physical father, you ain't going to need to worry. Okay, because you were raised up right. Okay, so now let's go straight to. Let me just a minute. The Apocrypha. This is definitely needed. Okay. Over time, you develop something called thick skin. Okay, because we came out, especially the Western world, is soft. Okay, and that's a fact. You look up, you go to the Eastern world, even Eastern Europe. You take the individual from Eastern Europe, and he comes to the Western world, and you take a man from the Western world. Okay, and you bring him to Eastern Europe. Who's really more tougher, solid-minded? The man from Eastern Europe. Okay. Because he had a more solid upbringing. Okay. And it's the same on the islands. Same, completely different. Okay, let's go to Ecclesiastes 30 and 9. Ecclesiastes 30 and 9. Look, Esau's kingdom, it doesn't teach any accountability. Okay, it doesn't teach you that. Okay. Ecclesiastes is 30, and that's why our people are so effeminate. Okay, because they got their mother's emotions on them. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 30 and 9. Babakasha. Oh, let's start at 30. He that loveth his son. Alright. So you love your son, right? Causeth him to oft to feel the rod. And there's nothing wrong with that as well. What's wrong with beating your child? But when you're beating your child, you let them know why you're doing it. You don't just do it. See, that's a different. That's abuse. You're just beating them for any reason because you're mad. You've had a bad day. No. Okay, that rod is what? Beatings. Could be a stick, could be anything. Could be a recorder, could be a cone. You know, get them licks. Okay, so you're beating your son or whoever because you want them to learn. And you're telling them. See, this I've seen this as well. Okay, women beat their sons. Fathers beat their sons, but they don't tell them why. And when they do it, it's because they're pissed off. I don't agree with that. You let them know why, so they can learn and not do it. Because if you don't do that, then they're going to grow up to be what? Mad, emotional, and they're going to take it out on the world, and they're going to... What's happened to them, they're going to do it to somebody else. Okay? Like that nigga Tupac said, bitches breed envy. It's true. Bitches breed envy. Okay? That's why a lot of these men, they're emotional. Okay? You look at your brother a wrong way, of someone of your nation, they want to kill you. I saw you looking at me. Why was you looking at me like that? Grow up. That he may have joy of him in the end. So you want joy of your son. So what? You're going to discipline him. Alright? He that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. You're going to have joy of him because he fears you. The reason why we get chastised in this truth, so we can fare. I don't want to do that again. Remember how I felt? Remember when I got jacked up? I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to put my hand in the cookie jar. Alright? You see it time and time again. Don't do that. What do? You go and do it. You get beat. It's the same with your house. It's no different. It's the same principle. Alright? And he shall have joy of his acquaintance. Okay? And you're going to be hanging around with what? Like-minded individuals that were raised up the same way. Okay? Bear me just a minute. And we're going to go into that word chasten as well. Let's quickly go into that word. You know what? Yeah, we get into it. Go into that word chasten. Come on now.
Strong's G 3809.
Paideia. Let's look it up. Nurture, instruction, chastisement. So, Yahushua, he's nurturing his men. He knows what they need. Because all the brothers came from what? Different backgrounds. Okay? And I've always said this. If you came from a rough neighborhood or whatever, a tough background or whatever, well, really, that should mold you into become your character supposed to be more strong. Not the other way around. Not more weak. Outline biblical usage, because you got guys that put themselves out there like they're really tough men. You know, clowns. The whole training, the whole training. That's why you got to be real. Okay, guys putting themselves in there, they're tough, but they're really what softer than it's softer than a Fruit Loop. Bear me just a minute. They are Fruit Loops. Bear me just a minute. The whole training and education of children, which relates to the cultivation of mind. So this truth is supposed to cultivate you, bring you up in the right way. Even with trees, a plant, you're cultivating that plant, molding that plant, watering that plant of mind, okay, and morals, and employs for this purpose now commands and admonitions, now reproof and punishment. So this is what comes with this truth: reproof and punishment. Okay, that's what cultivates you. The people of this mind, their mind has been cultivated, but it's been cultivated by Esau. So now we have to be taught all over again, because what we taught was wickedness, and that's Esau's whole thing. He wants to cultivate your mind with wickedness, corrupted. Now, reproof and punishment, it also includes the training and care of the body. You also got to take care of your body in this truth to the best of our abilities. Okay. Whatever in adults also cultivates the soul. Okay. Especially by correcting mistakes and curbing passions. So, you may have had some of you when you weren't really being told off when you were younger. You never really got beat. Alright? Never really got backhanded. Okay, you never really had nobody to tell you what to do. So what's that going to do? That's going what? Lead you in the way of destruction. And that's why you see most of our people, they're in jail. Okay, or they join gangs, or there's some rubbish, they're doing some rubbish because they were never told what to do. And that's why when we come in this truth, people don't really want to be around you, because now you have a righteous spirit within you. Okay, unless it's a person that's wants to repent, they're gonna want to be around you, because they're gonna be what? Humble to hear what you have to say. People that are non-repentant, they don't want to be around you. All right, because they want to live their wicked lifestyles. Instruction which aims at increasing virtue. So this, the longer you've been in this truth, you're supposed to increase in your virtue. Chastisement, chastening of the evils which the Most High visits men for their amendment. So that's part of that chastisement, which of evil. So the Lord sends evil to you to let you know, oh, you done this, I won't send evil to you now, which the Most High visits men for their amendment. To amend, what? To mend. What are ways? Tutorage, disciplinary correction. Ain't that beautiful? So now let's continue on Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 and 9. 30 and 3. He that teacheth his son. Alright. Well, when it says teacheth his son, in the scriptures, grieveth the enemy. Esau hates that. Esau hates that. Let alone you teaching your son the scriptures. That's a higher level. You're teaching your son and your daughters these scriptures. Esau hates that, because he's trying to indoctrinate your children. And before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Ain't that a good son? A beautiful, beautiful daughter you got there. You raise him up well. Though his father die, yet he as though he were not dead. Why? Because you raise up one more out of the scriptures. He's following after your ways. For he have left one behind him that is like himself. While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him. When he died, he was not sorrowful, because he had that assurance, okay, that confidence. He's going to do the right thing. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends. He that maketh too much of his son, here's the problem, mollycoddling, shall bind up his wounds, okay. And you see that. You don't make too much of your son. It's usually the woman doing that as well. You know, leave him alone. You know, he's my sweet boy, but he's not. He's really a demon. Okay, or acting like a demon. That's why you need to. That's why discipline is so heavy at a young age. Okay. at a young age, because the older you get, the harder it's going to be. Because you're more set in your ways. All right. So bear me just a minute. These things are fundamental. All right. So where was I? Give me just a minute. He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds. You don't mollycoddle your son. You don't do that at all. Right? Because he's never going to learn. He's going to think he can get away with what he can get away with. Okay? He's going to think that's acceptable. And his bowels will be troubled at every cry. Right? A horse not broken becometh headstrong. Because even with horses, you study horses, there's a certain way you got to deal with them. And they have to build up your trust as well. You can't ride on a horse but it don't trust you. Okay? And you got to knock it into shape. Okay? Spiritually and physically. And a child left to himself will become willful, will do what he wants. Okay? And don't get that twisted for someone that's teaching by themselves. Okay? Because yes, I'm still watching the videos, I'm still learning. So don't get, because remember, use that. Well, he's willful. He's presumptuous. No, not because you're teaching by yourself, it does not make you presumptuous. Everybody's got a different lot. Everybody's got a different path. It's just that you got to know what your path is. Alright? Main thing. Cocker, thou child, and he shall make thee afraid. And you go into that word cocker. It goes into what? That's East End language, by the way. Okay? Cocker means pamper. Spoil. You spoil your child. What do you think's going to happen? You're going to make him weak. Comfortability, spoiling your child, it makes him weak. It doesn't make him strong, it makes him a beta male. Cocker thy child, and thou shalt make thee afraid. He shall make thee afraid. Play with him. You mess about with him. You don't joke with your child like he's your friend. And he will bring thee heaviness. And that heaviness is not going to be straight away. Okay? It's going to be later on within them years. Laugh not with him. You shouldn't be laughing up in your face with your children. Okay? Unless he's done something good. Okay? Lest thou have sorrow with him. And lest thou gnash thy teeth in the end. So you're not supposed to do that. Give him no liberty in his youth. Because that's where it starts. And wink not at his follies, at his foolishness. You correct him. So when it says give him no liberty in his youth, that's when you're supposed to be raising him up. Then the most important years are what? Them first 12 years. Some say 8. I say the 12 years. That's when you're raising him up to be a man. Okay? Give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his folly. Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on his side. So you can beat your son while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn. Alright? And be disobedient unto thee, and shall bring sorrow to thy heart. Chastise thy son, and hold him to labor. Okay? So when you have a son, you send him out, do chores, a bit of work. Okay? And hold him to labor. And that will keep his mind of what? The people in the world. You won't be rolling with the wrong individuals. Okay? Lest his lewd behavior be an offense unto thee. Okay? So again, all the answers are in the scriptures. Everything you need is in the scriptures. Alright? And we're going to shut off on this. If only I knew this when I was younger. If only I knew this when I was younger. Bear me just a minute. Proverbs 29 and 17. Correct thy son, and he shall give thee... Hold on a minute. Oh, done with that. Bear me just a minute. Here it is. Proverbs 19 and 18. Chasten thy son while there is hope. So while you have hope, while you're still alive, that's what you want to do it. Get him into gear. And let not thy soul spare his crying. Don't worry about if he's crying. It's going to help him in the long run. And that's what Yahushua is doing to us. He doesn't care about our cries. What did Yahushua say to Job? Gird up thy loins like a man. I will demand of thee. A man of great wrath, anger shall suffer punishment. And a lot of the anger is from what? Chastisement. Because you could be chastising your children, but you're not telling them why. So a man of great wrath, a lot of the reason why a lot of people got anger, because they felt they were treated a particular way, okay, by their father or their mother, but they never told them why. That's why you need to let them know why. So a man of great wrath shall suffer punishment, for if thou deliver him, yet thou must do it again. In other words, in prison systems. And you see it with our people, go in, come back out, and they go right back in again, never learning. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. So with this lesson, I hope this was edifying, and chastisement is all for your betterment. And you got to see it that way, because if you don't see it that way, then guess what? Your house, he cannot work on you. He's just going to leave you, right? You don't want to be chastised, I'm going to leave you. So with this lesson, I hope this was edifying. On to the next time. Shalom.